All right, everybody, we are back on the rundown here at IBNX Radio Network. We are celebrating in a couple of months, 8 years on the air, just doing great things. I'm your host, Ricardo D. Wrice of the Leadership Blend Media Company, the podcast, television show, magazine, and Opting Into Films. It is my esteemed pleasure to be getting ready to interview this amazing actress, and I'm just beside myself because I've loved her since I'll tell her when she gets on, but a very long time. So I am honored to have this privilege to be able to interview her and find out more about what she's been doing, even though I know some of it, but I am so alluded to let her tell you what's all been going on. So we're going to see if she is ready now.
Yes,
all right. All right. Are we there? Are we ready to rock and roll?
Whatever, we gonna make it do what it do, as they say.
Everybody, I am elated to welcome and to interview the amazing Miss Marsha Warfield. How are you doing today?
I'm fine. How are you? I'm not as enthusiastic and exuberant as you seem to be, but I'm still hanging in here, you know.
That's only because I've been running around all day, so I've gotten like 50,000 steps in since 10 o'clock this morning.
Yeah, okay.
So
yeah, well, I haven't hit my sugar allotment yet, so I'm still, still a little draggy, but I'm all right.
That's good. I'm just happy to have you in the studio. Like I said, I have loved you since Night Court. And so when they said your name, I was like, oh my God, I gotta interview her. Please let it be me. Please let it be me. So
I know. You say, oh my goodness, she's still alive.
Yeah, okay, so here's the deal, because I keep up, so I watch 911. So when you showed up as Hen's mom, I fell out the chair. I was like, oh my God, that's Marsha Warfield. Oh my God, she's still around. She's still doing TV, thank God. Yes, I watched 911, and your character was amazing, and I think I shed a tear when she tapped on the window and you were in the car and she discovered that you were homeless. Yeah.
Well, they've been nice to me, and I've been fortunate enough to do about 4 episodes so far,
All right. So for those that don't know, tell them about you and all the amazing things that you've done over the span of your career.
Oh, goodness, that's a lot.
I know.
In fact, I'm here in Atlanta to do a bunch of stuff. I'm doing Nick Cannon's film. Lunell and I are joined at the hip and having fun doing that. And we're shooting here. And I'm also doing Hope Flood's Comics Rock Convention, where I'll be debuting, speaking of what I've been doing my whole life, I'll be debuting my one-woman stand-up show called The Book of Marsha. And it's part biography and part commentary and part personal Bible. So it should be interesting if it ain't funny, but hopefully it'll be funny too. And then I leave here and go back to California to do a show, Women of a Certain Age, where seasoned ladies do comedy. And then I'll be back here to finish the film. So it's a pretty hectic time. And then I'm going back to Vegas, where I'm based, and do some shows at the Comedy Cellar and still doing stand-up. And we're just rocking and rolling, keeping it going.
All right, so you've been in the industry a very long time, so I'm going to ask you, what advice would you give for up-and-coming female actresses / comedians in that space?
Same I would give anybody who has a goal or a dream. Don't quit. You're going to face things you can't imagine. You're going to see things you're not familiar with. You're going to be in places with people you don't know. And there are going to be times when your reality is not going to match your hopes. But don't quit. Because if you quit, if you don't quit, you don't know what might happen tomorrow. But if you quit, you know nothing is going to happen. So unless you're really ready to give it up and turn in the mic, just keep going. Just don't quit.
Okay, so let me ask you about because I'm just curious for myself. Was there a story about how you ended up on Night Court? I'm just curious. I just want to know because, like I said, I've loved the show for decades. So, was there a story about how you ended up with the Night Court?
Yeah, everybody died.
Wait, what? Wait, what?
That'll do it. That'll leave you open. And you have the first female bailiff was Selma Diamond, who was a writer and comedian who had been doing. I had been familiar with my whole life, and I rarely got to see Night Court back then because I was doing stand up, and it came on at that time, and we didn't have the internet and all this playback and VHS and all that stuff was new. So I didn't really see much of it, but I knew that Selma was on the show and Paula Kelly, who I had been fortunate enough to Richard Pryor show. I knew she was on the show, and I was like, you know, how we root for the one black person on the show. And so I was like, yay, Paula. But like I said, I didn't get to see it. But then tragically, Selma passed away after the second season, after the first full season, which is second season. And then they replaced her with an actress named Flo Hallett, who I had just done a pilot with that didn't get picked up. And Flo had been around. Her brother was one of the dead end kids, and they had been in show business forever. And it was just very interesting meeting her and talking to her. And within a year, or less than a year, she had passed away, and she passed away while right at the beginning of the fourth season, after the third season. So they were high and dry and didn't have a baby, and they didn't know what they were going to do with the role. And the producer was from Chicago, Brian Holwiggy, we called him Rainey. He was from Chicago. He knew my work, and I got called in to talk to him. And I had done so many auditions that didn't lead anywhere, and I was still doing stand-up. I started as a stand-up. I still consider stand-up and focus. So I'm like about to get on a plane, and I get the call to go there. I go and I sit and talk to Riney, and I'm like not feeling it at all. I'm sitting there. I got a wallet and a pack of Cools. At that time, I smoked. A wallet, pack of Cools, and I had on a pair of sweats and some sneakers. And I walked in and I sat down and crossed my legs and said, "Hello, how are you?" And he said, "Hey," and leaned back in his chair. And I said, "Give me one of them cigarettes." And I said, "Okay." And I gave him a cigarette, and we lit up and chatted. And we talked about the show and Flo and how close they were to the cast and all of that kind of stuff. But it was just a nice conversation. And I was like, "Well, it was nice to meet you." And I left. And I went to do my show in Seattle. And as I got off the plane, they said, "Call your agent." And I'm like, "Why?" They said, "You got it." And that was the first show I did on Night Court.
Oh, wow. So on 911, Angela Bassett is executive producer, correct? On 911?
Yes.
What is it like work? Because we know Angela as an actress. I don't think very many of us know, because I didn't know that because I love her character Athena, but I didn't know that she was an executive producer until I saw the credits. So what is it like working with her as when she's the producer?
Well, you know, she doesn't really, as far as I know, when I interact with her, it's as an actress. We don't, you know, she's one of the producers. There are the producers, and I don't really see her in her producer hat. You know, all those decisions are made before I get there, and everything's in place, and it runs efficiently, and I mean, it's a well-oiled machine. So she's doing something right, but no, it's a first-class operation, and so I'm sure she contributes to making that happen.
Nice. Really excited about that. So I'm not gonna ask you, because I'm sure, because I think they come out in September, and I'm sure there's not a lot you can say about it. Even though I really want to ask you if your character's coming back. For those that do not know, she's on 911, which comes. I always watch it on Hulu, so I'm not gonna say when it comes on. But she plays one thing. I watch it on Hulu. You know, this whole on-demand thing has been a godsend because now we don't have to rush home to watch TV. I can be like, nah, it may come out on Tuesday, but I watch it on Wednesday or Thursday. I'm good. But in the show,
Or
she
next year
plays
sometime.
literally like at a family reunion or something. When I don't have anything
Yeah.
else to do, I'm like, I can rewatch all the episodes. But in the show, she plays one of the main characters, Hen's mom, who she discovered is she came back to town and she discovered that she was homeless. And what made you identify with that character? How did you were you able to get in? Because that character has a lot to her. Because you have a grown daughter who has a wife and they just got a kid, and then you move back home, and she think you're this self-sufficient person, only to discover that you're living in your truck, and you didn't want to tell her that because you didn't want to add to what she already has going on. What does it was like to play a character like that? Because that's a lot, especially for African American
Well,
characters.
well, that was one of the things that was most attractive is that there was something to the role. But I think what connects us is the haircut, pretty much. That pretty much did it. And going through headshots, and you see one that hey, that one works, and we ain't seen her in a while, so then I got a phone call, and that's pretty much how that goes. But Aisha Hines is just a wonder, and it's such a pleasure to work with her. I've been blessed and fortunate to work with some of the best in business, and she's right up there. I mean, I'm honored to be on the show, and that they asked me to come back. I'm just thrilled.
Is there any role? Because when you hear people interview actors, especially who've been in the industry for a minute, some of them say, "Well, I would love to play this role. I haven't got the chance to play that role, or I want to do this." Is there any type of role that you want to play before you decide to go off into Hawaii and live your best life, your best remaining life? Is there some role that you really want to play before that happens?
God,
Really?
yes.
Like a voiceover god, or like a Bruce Almighty, not Samuel L. Jackson, Morgan Freeman type god situation.
Well, you see, I believe I have founded my own, and I call it the Church of Jesus, because I believe women have been totally overlooked, and the contributions that women make just aren't mentioned. And the fact that women own a superpower and a miracle factory that they're born with, uh, and trusted with the responsibility of bringing life from spirit to flesh, I don't think is recognized enough. So I preach the Church of Jesus, and she, the mother, the daughter, the sister that's in all of us, that created us, is our first connection to anything that's a heavenly power in my religion. So yes, I would love to play the goddess she.
Okay, all right. Actually, I like that statement you just made. So I'm going to ask you this because you've been in the industry for a minute, especially like you said in a time where you didn't see very many African American actors in TV, like regular TV, very often. Do you think that we've come a long way? Of course, there's still a lot of strides we need to make, but from then to now, are you happy with the progression that you've seen with, I'll say, particularly African American actresses on the big screen, not just movies, but in sitcoms and things of that magnitude?
Well, you've asked about 3, 4 different questions. Yes, we've come an amazingly far way. Yes, there are things to do. Am I happy? I am proud. I'm exceedingly proud of the progress that has been made in my lifetime, and that's part of what I'm trying to do in this one woman show, is to kind of highlight those things that I've seen since growing up with the civil rights movement. I was born in 1954, in the year of Brown versus the Board of Education.
Oh, wow.
So that was about the beginning of the movement, and being a product of the Great Migration and all of that, and coming from the reality of life that was 1954 to where we are now, where I get hired to work on a film being produced by a black man, and the cast and crew are all black people, and it runs efficiently, and just like every other, project I've ever been on, and being paid what I get paid, and it's a first class operation, and it's giving away a secret here, because if I keep speaking on it, I'm going to cry. And the secret is that she ain't all that tough. She got that emotion, and I do, and it just wells up. It overwhelms me to see uh, how far we've come and how much I was fortunate enough to be a part of.
All right. Well, I'm proud. Like I said, I'm excited. I'm ecstatic. I'm honored that I had this opportunity to interview such a legend. And we will talk to you soon. And is there any place really quickly that they can find you or find how to get tickets to your shows or anything really quickly?
I'm working this with the Comic Rock Convention, Hope Flood's Comic Rock Convention. You can go to her website. You can find me at marshawarfield.com. You can find me on all social media, most social medias, whatever it is, Marsha Warfield. I am easy to find by my government name. So you can just Google me, and there I am.
All right. Thank you so much for this amazing interview. Like I said, I am so honored, and I will definitely hope to see you on 911 next season premiere, which I think happens in a couple of weeks. So until that time, you.
Thank you. And if you're in Atlanta.
Oh, yeah, about your event this weekend.
Come see me. Right. Please come to the Comic Rock Convention to my premiere of the Book of Marsha, and that will be on Monday at the Ravel nightclub.
Right here in Atlanta, right here in ATL.
That's right. And that makes me kind of proud too.
I mean, I'm proud. I'm gonna have to see if I can sneak up in there too. I want to see this happen. This is amazing.
Come on.
History being made. See if I get me some tickets.
Revel.
Yeah, Mr. Revel.
Revel.
It's Revel, right?
Yes. Okay.
All right, I will talk to you soon, and you have a good one.
Thank you, and you too. Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. All right.
Bye-bye.
IBNX Radio.